Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 27th Wichita Junior ROTC Leadership Corps ceremony, honoring our nation's veterans and saluting the Junior ROTC and leadership programs in Wichita Public Schools. My name is Cadet First Lieutenant Carolee Russell from Northwest High School, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. At this time, I would also like to recognize Captain Steve Atkinson. His daughter was in JROTC at Southeast in 1996, and he has provided medical support to the ceremony every year since that time. Can we give Captain Atkinson a whoa? Our reviewing official today is Deputy Superintendent Gil Alvarez. This morning, we are very honored to have our keynote speaker, Air Force First Lieutenant Kelly Nguyen, former cadet from East High School. Wichita Public Schools Corps Commander and the Commander of Cadets for today's ceremony is Cadet Colonel Jesse Barlett from Northeast Magnet High School. The Deputy Corps Commander and the adjudicant for today's ceremony is the Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Damari, also from Northeast High School. The Command Sergeant Major and the Color Guard Commander for today's ceremony is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Alyssa Unruh from Southeast High School.
Bring your units to attention and present arms. Sir, the cadets are formed. Bring your units to order, arms.
The color guard that you will see in a few minutes is composed of cadets from across the district. Our music is provided by the Southeast High School Band under the direction of Mr. Joel Neagley. The Commander of Cadets will now direct the unit commanders to bring their units to present arms for the posting of the colors.
Bring your units to present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand while Cadet Command Sergeant Major Unruh directs the presentation of the colors. I was born June 14th, 1777. My colors symbolize the patriotic ideals and spiritual qualities of the citizens of this country. Today, 50 stars shine for my union, one for each of the 50 sovereign states in the greatest constitutional republic this world has ever known. I am liberty, the flag of the United States of America.
Bring your units to order, arms and stand at ease.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. After a turbulent entry into statehood, I have had a long and glorious history embedded with a proud heritage as the crossroads of the nation, known for its cattle drives, railroads, aviation industry, and abundant farmlands, making it the breadbasket of the United States, a leader in equal rights for all, and the first to answer the call to arms in protecting our country. Emblazoned on me and symbolic of our trials is the motto, ad astra per aspera, to the stars and through difficulties. I am the flag of the state of Kansas. My battle streamers stand in mute testimony of the victories that 246 years of dedicated service have produced. My soldiers have taken their stand and held their ground in war and in peace, and the tradition set forth by their predecessors at Valley Forge, Normandy, Busan, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, the Persian Gulf, Afghanistan, Iraq, and numerous peacekeeping missions. I have 187 battle campaign streamers. I am the senior service. I am the defender of freedom. I am the flag of the United States Army. Steeped in the leatherneck pride and traditions of Iwo Jima and Tripoli, I have been a leader in the defense of freedom in air, on land, and sea. Known and respected around the world by my motto, Semper Fidelis, I am fidelity, the flag of the United States Marine Corps. From the yards of my first privateer to the decks of my newest nuclear carrier, my men and women have carried the battle to the enemy's shores. I have defended liberty on the seas against all who dared to challenge, and my heroes have remained victorious. I am tradition, the flag of the United States Navy. To dutifully serve their country in war and peace. This is the proud heritage of the men and women who gather under my colors in defense of my country. I am strong in my resolve to protect this land and the independence it stands for. When called to fight, I am as swift as an eagle, and terrible is my vengeance, should the liberty I stand for be threatened. I am freedom's song on silver wings, the flag of the United States Air Force. Steeped in the history of the United States Air Force Space Command, the guardian of global space operations, I stand day and night defending critical space systems. The nation's newest defender of the United States, I am the guardian, semper supra, always above. I am the flag of the United States Space Force. The nation's oldest and premier maritime agency. I have fought in almost every war since the Constitution became the law of the land. I provide aids to navigation, law enforcement, environmental protection, search and rescue, and safety on the seas. Always ready, always there every hour, every day, around the clock, and around the world. I am the flag of the U.S. Coast Guard. First incorporated in 1870 in the bountiful Arkansas River Valley. I have seen the thunderous roar of cattle herds up the Chisholm Trail, the birth of the aircraft industry in the 20s, a monumental defense effort in the 40s, and selection as All-American City in 1962, 1993, 1999, 2009, and again in 2019. I fly with pride as the flag of the great city of Wichita. Wichita Public Schools started classes in 1870 in a second-story room in a downtown Wichita. Today, our district is the largest in Kansas educating more than 47,000 students in 90 school facilities. Wichita Public Schools serves a richly diverse student population and brings families the benefit of a large district with the caring approach of the individual communities it serves. I am the flag of the Wichita Public Schools.
Marine Corps units to present all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Star-Spangled Banner, which will be sung by the Southeast High School Madrigals under the direction of Miss Lisa Cookson.
We
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Cadet Araceli Ramirez from Hadley Middle School will now read a proclamation which has been signed by County Commissioner Chair Peter Meitzner.
Whereas JROTC was officially implemented in American high schools in 1916, began in Kansas in 1917, and in Wichita in 1994, making this its 27th anniversary, and whereas cadet leadership programs were started in selected middle schools in 1997, making Wichita a leadership in the nation in this initiative, and whereas JROTC and leadership programs are recognized in Wichita for building citizenship and good character in our youth. And whereas there are now more than 2,400 Wichita youth participating as cadets in 17 of our public schools. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Chairman Peter Meitzner, and the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners do hereby proclaim November 6 through 12, 2021 as Wichita JROTC and Leadership Week in recognition of these fine young men and women who are becoming better leaders and citizens for the future through their development in the JROTC and leadership programs.
County Commissioner Chair Peter Meitzner will now present the proclamation to the Commander of Cadets. It gives me much pleasure to introduce Commissioner Chair Meitzner.
Good morning, everyone, and it is truly an honor to be the chair of your Sedgwick County Commission this year and be a part of this ceremony. I am not a veteran. There are many veterans here. You'll all be future veterans, and with that, I think I would rather allow you to hear from one of our fellow county commissioners who had an esteemed career in the Air Force, and so I'm going to ask Colonel David Dennis, who serves on the county commission, and Jim Howell is here also as a commissioner, but I want to ask Colonel David Dennis to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Meitzner. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you introducing Jim Howell. He is also an Air Force veteran, and I thank him for his service too. Today we're here to recognize those brave men and women who sacrificed their lives for our nation and for our citizens. We thank those who are still serving and pray for those who give the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. Their commitment to this country should never go without recognition or be forgotten. Today's military parade allows us to recognize the next generation of leaders of our nation, our JROTC cadets. The mission of JROTC in Wichita began back in 1994 with a mission to prepare all students with the knowledge and skills necessary to grow into productive and responsible members of our society. The military men and women who do serve as your instructors and role models are to be commended for their dedication to each of their cadets. Wichita was only the second city in the nation to implement a middle school level program that continues to produce top-notch leaders, so much so that the program has been a model for similar programs being implemented throughout the United States. The JROTC program teaches cadets to live, work with others, building teamwork. They learn to think logically and communicate effectively. They learn to appreciate the values of good citizenship and recognize the importance of staying in school and staying away from drugs. Collectively, cadets have provided more than 15,000 hours of support to our community. I and the entire Sedgwick County Commission remain strong supporters of the JROTC program and you, the fine cadets gathered here before us today. We are very thankful for the honor that you have demonstrated last Saturday and again today in recognition of our nation's veterans. As a veteran myself, I believe I speak for everyone who has worn our nation's uniform when I say thank you to each and every cadet here today, and thank you to all the students in the Southeast Orchestra and the Madrigals that are here. At this time, I'd like to disregard the last. Again, thank you very much for representing your schools, and on behalf of the Sedgwick County Commission, thank you.
Cadet First Sergeant Winter Walker from North High School will now recite the Cadet Creed.
I am a proud Wichita cadet, I will always conduct myself to bring credit to my family, country, school, and Corps cadets. I am loyal and patriotic. I am the future of the United States of America. I do not lie, cheat, or steal, and will always be accountable for my actions and deeds. I will practice good citizenship and patriotism. I will work hard to improve my mind and strengthen my body. I will seek the mantle of leadership and stand prepared to uphold the Constitution and the American way of life. May God grant me the strength to always live by this creed.
On November 11th, we as a nation will give thanks and pay tribute to our 25 million living veterans, men and women who have risked their lives, including many who are doing so now, to protect our way of life and to extend freedoms to others. Veterans of World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, and Iraq contribute to the majesty of this great country. We are very honored today to have so many Wichita and surrounding area veterans at our ceremony on this, the 69th anniversary of Veterans Day celebration. 245 years ago, the signers of the Declaration of Independence declared that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Throughout the course of American history, courageous men and women have taken up arms to secure, defend, and maintain these core principles upon which our nation's freedom depends. Our troops have fought overseas to defeat terrorism, and in that effort, they follow in the footsteps of the 48 million men and women who, since our nation's founding, have stepped forward to defend our land. Many backgrounds and ethnicities come from, and they also come from many different religious beliefs. On Veterans Days, let us pause to reflect on the sacrifice of all of those who have put on the uniform to serve in the United States military. Let us honor our veterans who proved their heroism and love of country time and again. From Yorktown and Gettysburg to Iwo Jima to Icon and to Afghanistan and Iraq. World War I was known as the time as the Great War, the war to end all wars. Although the Treaty of Versailles was not signed until June 28, 1919, fighting ceased November 11, 1918, when the armistice went into effect. Thus, November 11th became Armistice Day, later renamed Veterans Day as a result of a proposal by Kansas Representative Edwin Reese to honor those who had served in all the wars. 103 years later, we still pause on November 11th to recognize veterans despite veterans' sacrifices. However, wars have not ended. Ladies and gentlemen, this school year marks another great year for Wichita Public Schools. All of our comprehensive high schools and Northeast Magnet have successful JROTC programs that are helping young people become better citizens and leaders. 24 years ago, we started leadership programs at the middle school level, which have since grown to 9 programs in the city. We have more than 2,400 cadets in our Wichita programs. These programs have been successful in developing character and improving teamwork, leadership, discipline, responsibility, citizenship, and academics. Cadets are involved in positive civic activities across the city. This year, Junior ROTC in Wichita celebrates its 27th anniversary. In a short period of time, we have improved the lives and futures of thousands of cadets and have made parents, guardians, teachers, and citizens proud of their accomplishments and our school district. We are a recognized part of Wichita, and cadets in uniform are common throughout the city, participating in community service and positive civic activities. Grades in school have improved, attendance has increased, and discipline and overall performance, to include graduation rates, exceed the average. Many of our cadets are going to college often with scholarships. We are becoming better prepared to assume the future leadership roles in our city and our nation. We are better citizens. This year we have a very special keynote speaker. She is First Lieutenant Kelly Nguyen. Lieutenant Nguyen was a cadet for 4 years at East High School before graduating from the Air Force Academy. Lieutenant Colonel Mike George, her former instructor, will now introduce and tell us about Lieutenant Nguyen.
Good morning, cadets. It's my pleasure to get to introduce First Lieutenant Kelly Nguyen. As you just heard, I've spent 21 years teaching junior ROTC at East High School. I saw a large number of exceptional cadets come through East High School in Wichita. And Kelly was right at the top of all of those cadets. And so it's with a lot of pleasure that I get to do this. And I want to start this, though, with reminding you of what was just mentioned. She started off as one of you. She was in the middle school program, started off at Robinson, and then she came to East High School and she was in the junior ROTC program for 4 years. At Robinson, she was on the drill team, she was a color guard commander, and she did all the things that middle school cadets do. She didn't change that when she got to East High School. When she got to East, she was on the first year drill team, worked her way all the way up to our arm drill team, was the commander of the varsity color guard. She was selected to be our Command Chief Master Sergeant, which for the Army is a Command Sergeant Major, the Marines First Sergeant. And then she went on to become our group commander. Following that, she was selected to be the Deputy Group Commander for the Corp, so it's Deputy Corps Commander. 6 years ago, she was standing up here helping run this event. So she's done a lot of things. In addition to just JROTC, she was also pretty smart. She graduated with a diploma from the International Baccalaureate Program, one of the hardest academic programs we have here in Wichita. And she was elected to be the president of the National Honor Society at East High School. All of that speaks to her leadership and what she wanted to get out of high school. One of the last things she was able to do, or one of the things she was able to do while in junior ROTC, she got a once-in-a-lifetime trip to go with the mayor and the city council members to Orleans, France, to be in a JROTC color guard for their World War II commemoration parade. All of that because of the work she did in junior ROTC. She did things like go to summer camp. She went to the JROTC day at the Capitol. She worked as a page in the Kansas Senate. Again, all those things that help all of you, if you get to do them, learn more about the country, more about the military, more about Kansas. After she, or while she was in high school, she made the decision to go to the Air Force Academy. And she had a lot of opportunities, a lot of different things she could decide to do, but that's what she set her goal on. And that's what she achieved. She got an appointment to the Air Force Academy, which, if you haven't looked into it yet, means you get a full 4-year paid scholarship to a great university, and all the services have them. And then you get commissioned into the military as a second lieutenant. And that's what I want you to think about. What is your plan? What do you want to do after high school? How are you going to get there? Lieutenant Nguyen's going to talk more about that. After the academy, Lieutenant Nguyen was selected to stay on as a liaison officer, help and give tours and talk to upcoming cadets about what the academy is like. Then she was selected to go to Air Force intelligence training. And I spent half my career working in the intelligence world. It is a very demanding job. You have to be able to learn and identify a lot of things going on in the world so that our leadership can stay up to speed on what's going on in the world. And so that's the world she is selected to go into. She is currently the Assistant Chief of Intelligence down at Tinker Air Force Base, down in Oklahoma City. and she's going to soon deploy for temporary duty out to Shaw Air Force Base to one of the operating units there. Again, how does that apply to you? When you listen to Lieutenant Nguyen, please keep in mind that that could be one of you. 6 years from now, you might be asked to come up here and speak. All right? And hopefully you've set yourself on a path to be able to do something like that. With that, I would like you all to give a nice warm welcome to First Lieutenant Kelly Nguyen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Colonel George. I appreciate the kind introduction. And Colonel Hester, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. And of course, thank you to the cadets for being here, though I'm sure it was mandatory. The great philosopher Drake once said, "No matter how dirty your past is, your future is still spotless." I come from a refugee family. My father was an officer in the South Vietnamese Army and became a prisoner of war after the fall of Saigon. Because of that, my family was able to come to the United States as part of a government program to seek a life of opportunity and free of persecution. My parents had to basically start over in a new country at the age of 40 with 6 rowdy children. They didn't speak English, didn't go to college, and didn't have a penny to their name. I remember growing up in subsidized housing, sharing a mattress with my mom and 2 other siblings, having to enroll myself into middle school or elementary school, being the translator at parent-teacher conferences, and showing up to class with clothes that never fit right. That's right, I was wearing crop tops and mom jeans before they were cool. Despite these disadvantages, since leaving high school, I have traveled to every continent except Antarctica, graduated from a distinguished college, parachuted out of airplanes, became a military intelligence analyst, and now have come full circle back to my immigrant roots, and am currently working on a campaign to save American citizens, green card holders, and U.S. allies and their families currently still stranded in Afghanistan. Where you are right now and where you came from does not dictate where you will go or all the amazing things you'll do in your future. Due to the disparity between my life circumstances and what I aspire to be, I placed enormous pressure on myself to succeed. In high school, calling me highly driven would be a gross understatement. I was obsessed. Doing well in school consumed me, and many of my classmates called me crazy. I saw how much finances played a role in my parents' lives and how much it limited us and our opportunities for education. Many of my friends were getting tutoring for SATs and ACTs, going to after-school classes and club sports, and attending summer camps and seminars hosted by prestigious universities. These were opportunities that my parents just couldn't afford. So instead, I cracked my knuckles and I got to work. I took JROTC classes outside of school hours to make room for extra AP courses in addition to grinding to earn my IB diploma. I signed up for every volunteer opportunity I could stuff into my schedule, and then took the initiative to create more volunteering events. I also put my name in for every leadership position in honor society I could find, from being a class representative in the student council, member of Mayor's Youth Council, president of National Honor Society, drill team commander, East High School group commander, and eventually Deputy CV Corps commander. Essentially, challenge yourself and put yourself out there. In addition to all the hard work, and behind any successful person is a great mentor and support system. The secret to overcoming my adversity is that I never did it alone. Don't be afraid to ask for help, seek mentorship, and lean on your support system, especially when things are difficult. I came into JROTC looking for friends, but I ended up with family every step along my career. In JROTC, at the Air Force Academy, and now in the Air Force. This would not have been possible if not for the deliberate mentorship and dedication of instructors such as Lieutenant Colonel George or Colonel Hester to not only the JROTC program, but also to each and every student that has passed through their doors. As a small Asian woman, I was often underestimated. Even some of my family members didn't believe I would make it this far. Colonel George saw my potential and challenged me to jump for opportunities that I didn't think possible or that I didn't believe I was worthy of, such as appearing in front of the board for City Corps Commander or applying to the Air Force Academy. What I am, I owe to him. He was often like a second father to me and took on the role as a father figure to many cadets at East High School, advising us both personally and professionally. He cultivated a space that brought us together and fostered lifelong relationships and friendships. In addition to having a great mentor, I had my ragtag JROTC family made up of peers from all different ethnic, socioeconomic, and political backgrounds who taught me new perspectives, constantly motivated me, and showed me what it was like to have loyal friends despite our differences. Now, similarly, I have my Air Force family who has taught me, more than anything else, to be kind. In the past few years, between jumping out of planes and doing secret squirrel stuff for the military, I have also experienced the tragedy of losing several friends. Being in the military, I knew there was a possibility that I would lose brothers and sisters in arms, but I had never expected it to happen so soon or so close to home. This brings me to my next lesson, which is to cherish your relationships. Never miss out on an opportunity to let people know how important they are to you, because you never know when you won't be able to anymore. And finally, have grace. Have grace towards others, because at the end of the day, everyone is doing the best that they can with what they know and in the circumstances that they're in. But don't forget to also have grace for yourself, because you too are doing the best that you can. Your mistakes do not define who you are. And as the poet Khalil Gibran says, to measure you by your smallest deed is to reckon the power of the ocean by the frailty of its foam. As an example, here I have $20. It's not a magic trick, it's real. Now, if you fold it in half, it's still worth $20. What if I crumpled it in my hand? Would you still want it? Yeah? And why is that? Because we agree that it still has value and worth. The same is true if I were to throw it on the ground and stomp on it. Its value doesn't change because of what happens to it or what circumstances it's been through. Now, we're all worth so much more than a measly $20, but somehow we're stuck in a mindset that our value varies because of how we're treated or because of the circumstances that we're in. Your value is inherent. It is what you give yourself and not something that can be taken away by your circumstances or by anyone else. Now, I have a $20 bill for anyone who wants it. No? Going to the academy. Going into the academy, my understanding of leadership was transactional. That the person in charge was directive and they inspired their subordinates through their strength and certainty. Over time, the meaning of leadership for me has grown to become all-encompassing. It is still important to lead with strength to provide direction and confidence to your people, but it's just as important to lead with compassion, getting to know your people, understanding their troubles, and working with them to overcome their adversity. When you lead with compassion, you're seeking influence instead of authority, and fostering a sense of purpose and trust within the unit. Compassion and empathy are leadership qualities that communicate that you have their best interest in mind, and that any decision you make has been fashioned with careful consideration of both the needs of the unit and the individual. Leading with strength conveys that you are dedicated to the mission, but leading with compassion conveys that you're also dedicated to the well-being of your people. People first, mission always. This is the story of my success so far. I still have a long way to get to where I want to be. However, success comes in many different forms. My story is meant to inspire you, What may be my success may not be yours. From where you all stand right now, your possibilities are endless. I challenge you to find your own story, discover joy, and spread kindness. Don't let your circumstances hold you back, because if you refuse to sit at the table, you will be on the menu. Nobody will care more about you and your future than you do. Don't be afraid to dream and open your own doors. Challenge yourself academically. Sign up for leadership positions. Find a support system that hypes you up and pushes you to be better, always. And finally, while you're progressing on your own journeys, remember that in a world where you can be anything, be happy and be kind. Thank you.
Ma'am, on behalf of the Junior ROTC and leadership programs, we would like to present you this small token of appreciation for being an outstanding keynote speaker. Oh, ma'am.
Deputy Superintendent Gil Alvarez's dedication to the students and Wichita community has allowed him to serve Wichita Public Schools for 23 years. Through his transformational and servant leadership, 2 high schools he served were recognized as the top public high schools in Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen and cadets, please join me in welcoming our Deputy Superintendent Gil Alvarez.
Thank you all so much. It's a pleasure being here. I don't know how I'm going to follow that. So First Lieutenant Nguyen, thank you for your success story that you shared with us. It was very inspiring. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your service. Wow. What an overwhelming feeling this is to be part of this great event and to have you all back together once again. We do not have many opportunities in our district to gather this many Wichita Public Schools students together in one space, so you are definitely one impressive group. It is my pleasure to be here today representing our superintendent in the Wichita Public Schools, our superintendent, Dr. Alicia Thompson. I want to welcome our special guests with us today as well, including board members. So if you are a current board member or a soon-to-be board member, if you would please stand at this time so you can be recognized. I would also like our county commissioners that are here today. I know it's taken a lot out of your schedule to be here, but I know it's a great event to be at. So if you are on the county commission, if you would please stand to be recognized. Most importantly, I want to thank so many veterans that are joining us today. If you are a veteran who has served our country proudly, whether it's in the past or present, will you please stand so we can thank you for your service to our country. All veterans, would you please stand and be recognized? And I know we had some of our JROTC instructors or leadership instructors that were standing because we thank them for their service. But I want to thank you for your service to the Wichita Public Schools. The inspiration that you provide for our students is second to none. We know that you provide our leaders and citizens to our great country. So students, cadets, if you don't mind just turning your head, and let's give a big round of applause for our JROTC and leadership instructors. Cadets and students, now it's time to thank you for being involved in this program and honoring our veterans today. I know that being involved in JROTC and leadership, your attendance is better, your dropout rate is lower, and your graduation and grade point averages are higher than other students. You truly are becoming future ready. We are very fortunate to have this program in our district and to have so many of you participate. You learn the importance of citizenship, and you give back with thousands of hours of community service. You may not realize how lucky you are to have this amazing opportunity to lead, serve, and inspire others. I'm going to challenge you to continue to serve your community, wherever that may be, long after you graduate high school. I know that you will make a difference, which makes all of us in the Wichita Public Schools very proud. That is why First Lieutenant Nguyen makes us WPS proud. Thank you for allowing me to be here today and celebrate service to our great country with all of you this morning. Thank you, and have a great rest of the event.
Bring your unit troops and at ease.
While Veterans Day is typically a tribute to America's living veterans, it is appropriate to include a moment of silence in respect for those who have gallantly given their lives for their country. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, the cadets will now conduct a pass and review.
Pass and review.
gentlemen, this concludes the 27th Annual Wichita JROTC and Leadership Ceremony honoring our nation's veterans and saluting the Wichita JROTC and Leadership programs. Thank you for attending. Oh!